The mammoth's last breath steams in the frigid air, a ghost rising from a mountain of shag and muscle. It lies on the ice-hardened plain, a testament to the hunter's skill, a guarantee of life for the clan. 3 figures, broad and low to the ground, move around the carcass. Their movements are economical, born of a lifetime navigating a world that gives nothing for free. Blood, shockingly red into the grey landscape, stains their hide-wrapped hands on the flint heads of their spears. The chert of a moose Terrian point, still embedded deep behind the creature's shoulder, gleams wetly. This is the apex of their existence, the moment when foresight, strength, and cooperation culminate in survival for the many. This hard-won success is the currency of prehistoric life. Kale, the oldest, stops carving a slab of fat from the flank. He lifts his head, his heavy brow ridge furrow, and sniffs the air. It is not the coppery scent of blood or the musk of the beast that holds his attention. It is something else, a stillness. The wind, a constant companion on the mammoth steppe, has died. The sky to the north, once a pale, indifferent blue, has curdled into a flat, depthless white. He grunts, "Hello, hello," guttural warning that cuts through the younger men's focus. Durrell, his massive shoulders straining as he levers a tusk, pauses and follows the old man's gaze. Look, the youngest, his face still flushed with the adrenaline of his first true mammoth kill, looks from one to the other, his elation souring into uncertainty. Cal points with a bloody finger, not at the sky, but at the horizon itself, which is no longer a line but a smudge. The world dissolves. It does not happen gradually. It happens all at once. One moment, they stand on a vast, frozen plain beside their kill. The next, a solid wall of white slams into them, a physical blow of wind and ice. The howl is instantaneous, a deafening shriek that erases all other sound. Visibility shrinks from kilometers to the length of a man's arm, then to the space between their own eyes and their outstretched hands. Snow, driven horizontally, is not soft but a billion tiny needles stinging any exposed flesh. The gargantuan form of the mammoth, their anchor and their prize, blurs into a mere suggestion. A darker grey in a world of roaring, infinite grey, and then vanishes completely. The very ground beneath their feet seems to fall away into the featureless void. Instinct, older and deeper than thought, takes over. Burrow shoots rock toward Kale, and the 3 of them slam together, leg to back, a small, desperate tripod of life against the screaming emptiness. They are a single organism now, sharing warmth, breaking the force of the wind. This is the core of their hominid history. The community is the unit of survival. They pull their furs tighter, put snow over their faces. They're on thick layers of subcutaneous fat are final. Personal defense gifted by generations of ancestors who endured this very cold. The mammoth, the clan's future, is forgotten. The future has collapsed into the next breath, the next shuddering moment of endurance. They are no longer hunters. They are stones in a river of ice, and the current threatens to tear them apart and scatter them into oblivion. Time ceases to be a measure of the sun and becomes a litany of heartbeats against the ribs. To remain still is to die. Cal knows this with a certainty that predates language. He breaks the huddle, not with a shout. The wind would swallow it whole, but with a forceful shove. He grips a strip of hide from his pack, winds it around his waist, and passes the other end to Burrow, who loops it through his own belt before securing the end to Rock's arm. They are tethered now, a lifeline in the white nothing. It is a simple piece of primitive technology, yet in this moment, it is the only thing holding their world together. Kale turns his face away from the wind, then a quarter turn back into it. He is trying to find the ghost of the prevailing wind, the one that sculpted the drifts and bent the sparse. Hardy grasses he knows are buried under the snow. It is a desperate act of navigation, relying on a memory of the land, an internal, 3-dimensional chart of every ridge, game trail, and sheltering rock. This is their cognitive map, the most critical of their survival skills, etched into their minds by seasons of wandering. He takes a step, The ground is flat. It should be. He takes another. He feels for the subtle incline he knows must be there. The low, gentle slope that leads toward the forested hills where their rock shelter lies. The march begins. A grueling, blind pilgrimage. They are a single, slow-moving creature, heads bowed against the onslaught, three parts of a whole defined by the hydrope that joins them. The only world is the swirling chaos apace ahead and the feel of the man in front, the pull of the man behind. This is the raw essence of the struggle of early humans, a battle fought not with spears, but with endurance and an unbreakable, unspoken pet. It is Rock who falters first, his youthful energy, burned away by the adrenaline of the hunt and the shock of the cold, gives out. He stumbles. The rope pulling taut and yanking Burrow to a halt. Burrow turns, his face a mask of ice-caked fur, and sees the boy's eyes. They are glassy, unfocused. The violent shivering that had racked his body has ceased, replaced by a terrifying calm. Hypothermia is not a fiery battle. It is a quiet thief, stealing warmth and then thought itself. There is no debate. There is no moment of calculation. To abandon a hunter is to abandon the future. Burrow, without a signal, heaves Roxham over his own massive shoulder, taking on the boy's weight. The younger mutters a deadening load, his feet dragging, his head lolling. The altruism is instinctual, a fundamental pillar of human evolution. The clan survives because the strong carry the weak, because the debt of life is paid forward. Their pace slows to a crawl. Every step is now a monumental effort for Burrow, his own energy being sapped by two. The storm, and the dying man he now supports. Kale moves to the front again, breaking the wall of wind, his own aging body screaming in protest. They are at a blow of desperate care, a testament to the bonds that allow human ancestors to endure a world that is actively trying to erase them. The ghost trail they follow is not on the land, but inside their own minds, and it is growing fainter with every agonizing step. Kada's world has shrunk to the burning in his lungs and the ache in his bones. The cognitive map, once so clear in his mind, is fraying, its landmarks buried under an unimaginable weight of snow and doubt. He no longer feels the slope. He feels nothing. Every direction is the same direction. Forward, into the roaring white. He stumbles, catching himself on his spear. The hydrope goes slack. Behind him, Burrow grunts, a sound of pained inquiry, for a single, terrifying moment. Cal considers simply stopping, to lie down, to let the quiet thief of hypothermia finish its work. The thought is not frightening, it is seductive, a promise of peace. It is the primal fear not of the predator, but of utter exhaustion, of the spirit finally breaking. This is the true test of ancient humans. Not the strength to fight, but the will to continue when all strength is gone. Burrow shoves him from behind. It is not a gesture of aggression, but one of pure, stubborn refusal. He will not let the old man stop. He will not let the line break. He shifts Rock's dead weight, a low groan escaping his lips, and pushes Kale again, onward. The command needs no words. Kale straightens, shame and a renewed flicker of resolve warring within him. He takes another step, and then another. It is in this moment of near total despair that the world changes again. The wind, which has been a relentless, direct assault, shifts. For a brief second, the howling listens, and the gale comes at them from a new angle. With it, he carries something impossible. I said. It is faint, almost a memory. It is not the clean, sterile smell of the snow or the scent of their own fear-laced sweat. It is smoke. But more than smoke, it is the greasy, rich smell of burning animal fat. The sharp tang of pine resin catching fire, the unmistakable aroma of their clan. It is the smell of the hearth. Kale freezes, his head lifting, nostrils flaring wide, trying to catch the ghost of a signal in the maelstrom. It is an act of pure olfactory navigation. He turns his head slowly, like a grazing animal sensing a predator. until he finds the direction where the scent is strongest. It is there, then gone, snatched away by the wind. But it was real. Hope is a dangerous, powerful fuel. It floods his limbs with a fire that defies the cold. He turns, his new direction certain, and pulls on the rope. He does not need to explain. Burrow feels the change in the old man's gait, the new urgency. He finds a last reserve of strength, hoisting Rock higher onto his shoulder and lumbering forward, following Kayla's lead. Their final march is no longer a blind stagger but a desperate, focused push. They are guided by the most powerful beacon in their universe, the promise of warmth, of safety, of kin. They almost miss it. Not a cave, but a black slash in a wall of rock, its edges blurred by curtains of snow. A faint, orange light pulses within, a weak heartbeat in the storm. They collapse at the entrance, a tangle of limbs and heightened exhaustion. And hands, strong, familiar hands, reach out from the warmth to drag them out of the white nothing and back into the world of the living. Within the rock shelter, the blizzard is a muted howl, a beast locked outside the cage of the firelit walls. Tail and Burrow lie near the flames, their bodies racked with violent shivers as warmth painfully seeps back into their flesh. Rock is tended to by the women, his life a fragile ember they try to coax back to a flame. The price of their ordeal will be etched into his flesh, a permanent record written by the coal. What future archaeology will unearth of them? A discarded point, a hearth's ancient charcoal, will never tell this story. It will not speak of the moment the world vanished, or of the hydrope that became the physical manifestation of their trust, or of a leader navigating by a scent only he could perceive. Their survival was not a victory of brawn over beast, but of the intangible, uniquely hominid strengths that define human evolution, a shared map held in the mind, an altruism that defies logic, and the profound, magnetic pull of home. This hunt, which began as a triumph, became a crucible. It burned away everything but the essential, forging their bonds in the ice, reminding them that the true predator is not the lion or the bear, but the vast, indifferent world itself. Their struggle is a distant echo, a lesson carved into our own DNA that when the world is erased, we are saved not by what we can see, but by what we carry within us. Together, we bear witness, not to judge their strength, but to recognize the foundation of our own. And yet, the greatest threat often comes not from the storm outside, but from the silence within.